everyone, Sarah here. Rewind Justice brings you revenge stories that will blow your mind. If you're ready, hit subscribe and let's go.
My name is Claire Davidson and I'm the invisible architect of my sister's empire. For 6 years I've held 73% of the voting shares in Nexus Digital Solutions, the $94 million marketing automation company my sister Rachel claims to have built from nothing. She doesn't know I own those shares. She doesn't know I've been the controlling vote on every major decision her board has made. She doesn't know that when she pitched her Series A, Series B and Series C rounds, I was the one who structured the deals to give me silent majority control. What she does know is that I'm her little sister who works in consulting. And apparently, according to her promotion party speech, I've never supported her success. Rachel is 4 years older than me. Growing up, she was the magnetic one, student body president, debate team captain, the daughter who made our parents beam with pride. I was the math nerd in the corner, building financial models for fun while Rachel practiced her TED Talk delivery in the mirror. Claire's brilliant with numbers, my mom would say apologetically to relatives. But Rachel has the personality for business. They were both right. I understood systems. Rachel understood people. In a fair world, that would have made us an unstoppable team. We don't live in a fair world. Rachel went to Northwestern for marketing. I went to UChicago for economics. She joined a hot startup in San Francisco. I went to McKinsey. At 24, Rachel called me with an idea. Marketing automation is exploding, but it's all enterprise-focused. Nobody's serving mid-market companies well. I want to build something for them. That's a good white space, I said. I'm going to do it. I'm leaving my job. I'm going to raise money and build this. Do you have a business plan? I have a vision. I spent the next 3 weeks building her entire financial model. Market sizing, customer acquisition costs, unit economics, 5-year projections. I created 3 different fundraising scenarios and a detailed go-to-market strategy. Rachel took my model, added her narrative flair and pitched 12 investors. 11 passed. The 12th, a small VC fund called Summit Ridge, offered $800,000 for 25% of the company. Rachel was ecstatic. Claire, I did it. I'm an entrepreneur. Congratulations. Did you have a lawyer review the term sheet? It's fine. They're good guys. I reviewed it anyway. It was a disaster. Ratchet provisions, full liquidation preferences, a drag-along clause that could force her to sell at any price. Rachel, don't sign this. Let me connect you with someone who can negotiate. Claire, I appreciate it, but I've got this. You're great with spreadsheets, but I understand the business side. She signed. 3 months later, she called me crying. The terms are killing me. Every decision needs investor approval. They're threatening to fire me if we don't hit projections. Claire, what do I do? I flew to San Francisco that weekend. I spent 40 hours reviewing every document, every email, every board minute. Then I met with Rachel's lawyer, who was wildly out of his depth, and Summit Ridge's managing partner. Your client is in breach of the equity acceleration clause, I told him calmly. Rachel hit her 6-month milestones 2 weeks early. Per Section 7.2, that triggers an additional 5% equity grant and removes the supermajority approval requirement. He blinked. I don't think. I slid the signed agreement across the table with the relevant section highlighted. He read it twice. His face went red. We'll need to discuss this with our team. Do that. Meanwhile, Ms. Davidson will be operating with full authority as CEO. Any attempts to interfere will result in legal action for tortious interference. Are we clear? We were clear. Rachel got her company back. You saved me, she said, hugging me at the airport. I'm sorry I didn't listen. Just be more careful next time. I will. I promise. She wasn't. Over the next 2 years, Rachel built Nexus into a real company. He hired well. He closed big clients. Revenue grew from $200,000 to $3.2 million. But she was burning cash faster than she was making it. I need a Series A, she told me. Can you look at my deck? Her deck was a mess. Beautiful design, zero substance. Projections that made no sense. Evaluation based on wishes. I rebuilt the entire thing. Market analysis, competitive positioning, realistic growth projections, clear use of funds. This is amazing, Rachel said. You should be in venture capital. I'm happy in consulting. That was a lie. I'd left McKinsey 6 months earlier to start my own investment fund, Davidson Strategic Partners. I had $47 million under management from 3 family offices who trusted my track record. Rachel didn't know. I kept my professional life completely separate from family. He pitched 15 VCs with my deck. 8 wanted in. She chose Velocity Ventures. $5 million at a $15 million pre-money valuation. I reviewed the term sheet. It was better than Summit Ridge but still problematic. The liquidation preference stack would crush common shareholders. The board composition gave VCs effective control. Rachel, let me help you negotiate. Claire, I love you but Velocity is top tier. They know what they're doing. I trust them. She signed. I made a decision that night. If Rachel wouldn't protect herself, I would. I called my lawyer Marcus Chin. I need to structure a Series A investment through shell companies. Multiple layers. Nominee directors. Complete anonymity. How much are you putting in? Whatever it takes to get majority voting control. Marcus was quiet. Claire, that's your sister's company. I know. This could get complicated. It already is. Make it happen. Took 6 weeks. 3 shell companies, 2 nominee investors, 1 very complex cap table restructure. When the Series A closed, Velocity thought they'd brought in a consortium of strategic investors. Rachel thought she'd gotten $8 million total instead of $5 million. What actually happened? I'd invested $4.7 million through my fund, structured to give me 38% of voting shares. Combined with Rachel's equity and a side letter with one of the other investors, I controlled 54% of all votes. I was the majority shareholder. Rachel had no idea. This became the pattern. Rachel would build. I would protect. She'd make deals. I'd review them behind the scenes through nominee board members. When she hired a CFO who was embezzling, my board representative discovered the discrepancy during a routine audit. When she almost signed a terrible acquisition offer, my representative raised concerns that delayed the deal long enough for a better offer to emerge. When her co-founder tried to force her out, my voting bloc coincidentally sided with Rachel. He thought she was lucky. She thought she had good instincts. She thought she'd built everything alone. Meanwhile, I'd invested in every single funding round. Series A, Series B, Series C. Each time I structured it to increase my voting control while staying invisible. By the Series C, Nexus was valued at $94 million. And I controlled 73% of voting shares. Rachel owned 18%. VCs owned the rest. I was the silent majority on every board vote. Every strategic decision. Every executive hiring. I was the reason her company existed. And she had no idea. Last month, Rachel was promoted from CEO to executive chairwoman. She'd hired a new CEO, a former Google VP, to scale the company toward an IPO. The promotion party was at a rooftop venue in Soma. 200 people. Open bar. Catered dinner. I arrived in a simple black dress. Rachel wore Chanel. Claire. You came. He hugged me. I wasn't sure you could make it. Wouldn't miss it. How's consulting? Busy. How's everything with you? Incredible. We're on track for a $200 million valuation by year-end. The new CEO is amazing. The board is aligned. Everything I've worked for is finally coming together. She was radiant. Happy. Proud. I was happy for her. Until the speeches started. The new CEO spoke first. Rachel built something extraordinary. Her vision, her determination, her refusal to quit. That's what created Nexus. The board chairman went next. Rachel is a once-in-a-generation founder. She saw a market opportunity and seized it. Alone. Against all odds. Then Rachel took the microphone. Thank you all for being here. This company, this dream, it's been the hardest thing I've ever done. And I did it without a safety net. Without help. I want to especially thank everyone who believed in me when I had nothing but an idea. Applause. People told me I couldn't do it. That I didn't have the skills. The experience. The support. Her voice caught. My own family doubted me. My sister, who I love, she's brilliant with numbers, but she's never understood what it takes to build something. She's never supported my career. Never taken a risk. While I was out here fighting every day, she was safe in her consulting job, telling me to be more careful. The room applauded again. But I proved them wrong. I built this company alone. Every decision, every risk, every sleepless night. That was me. And tonight I get to celebrate that. Everyone stood up, cheering. I stayed seated. I smiled politely and clapped. Inside something shifted. 6 years. $17 million. Countless hours of work protecting her, guiding her company through my board representatives, saving her from disasters she never knew existed. And I'd done it without help. Without support. Never taken a risk. I pulled out my phone under the table and texted Marcus. I need an emergency board meeting scheduled. Monday morning. 9 a.m. His response came in seconds. What's the agenda? Vote of no confidence in current leadership. Claire, are you sure? I watched Rachel pose for photos, laughing, radiant, basking in applause for building something completely alone. I've never been more sure of anything. Monday morning, 6:47 a.m. I sent one email to Nexus Digital Solutions Board of Directors. To Board of Directors, Nexus Digital Solutions. From Davidson Strategic Partners, nominee. Archway Holdings Limited. Notice of Emergency Board Meeting and Vote of No Confidence. Dear Board Members, pursuant to Section 4.2 of the amended shareholder agreement, I hereby call an emergency meeting of the Board of Directors for today, Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific. Agenda. Vote of no confidence in Executive Chairwoman Rachel Davidson. Context. As the beneficial owner of 73% of voting shares in Nexus Digital Solutions, I am exercising my right to call for immediate review of executive leadership. Required attendance. All board members must attend. This meeting will proceed with or without the presence of Ms. Davidson. Dial-in information below. Regards, Claire Davidson. Managing Partner, Davidson Strategic Partners. Majority Shareholder, Nexus Digital Solutions. I copied Rachel's assistant, the CFO, and the General Counsel. Then I waited. At 7:03 a.m., Rachel's assistant, Jennifer, burst into Rachel's office. I know this because the General Counsel called me immediately after. Claire, what the hell is going on? Read the email. You're Davidson Strategic Partners? Yes. You own 73% of voting shares? Yes. Does Rachel know? She's about to. At 7:14 a.m. Rachel called me. I let it ring. She called again. And again. At 7:22 she texted, Claire, call me right now. At 7:35, what is this email? Is this some kind of joke? At 7:48, call me. At 8 a.m. I sent one text back, see you at the board meeting. At 8:57 a.m., I dialed into the video conference. All 7 board members were already on. Rachel sat in the Nexus conference room, her face pale. The new CEO sat beside her, confused. Jennifer, the assistant, sat in the corner with a laptop taking notes. This meeting is called to order, I said calmly. For those who don't know me, I'm Claire Davidson. I'm Rachel's younger sister. I'm also the founder and managing partner of Davidson Strategic Partners, which controls 73% of voting shares in this company through a network of nominee holders and shell entities. The new CEO's mouth fell open. Rachel stared at the screen like I was speaking another language. I continued. 6 years ago, I invested $4.7 million in Nexus Digital Solutions Series A round. I've participated in every funding round since. Series B, Series C, and 2 bridge rounds. My total investment to date is $17.3 million. In exchange, I structured deals that gave me incremental voting control while maintaining complete anonymity. I shared my screen. A cap table appeared showing the complete ownership structure. Nexus Digital Solutions, voting control. Davidson Strategic Partners, via nominees 73.2%. Rachel Davidson, 17.8%. Velocity Ventures, 5.4%. Other investors 3.6%. This can't be real, Rachel whispered. It's real. Marcus, can you confirm? My lawyer unmuted. I can confirm. I've structured every investment personally. All documentation is legally airtight. Ms. Claire Davidson is the majority shareholder and controlling party of Nexus Digital Solutions. One of the VC board members, a man named Douglas from Velocity, found his voice. Why are we only learning this now? Because I preferred to remain silent. I let Rachel run her company. I voted through nominees. I never interfered unless absolutely necessary. Then why call this meeting? Douglas demanded. I looked directly at Rachel through the camera. Because Saturday night at your promotion party, you told 200 people that you built this company alone. You said your family never supported you. You specifically said I've never supported your career, and have never taken a risk. Rachel's face crumbled. Claire, I've invested $17 million in your success. I've spent 6 years protecting this company from bad decisions, bad actors, and your own blind spots. I've done it silently because I didn't need credit. I just needed you to succeed. I didn't know. You didn't want to know. Every time I offered advice, you dismissed me. Every time I tried to help, you told me I didn't understand business. You built a narrative where you're the visionary who did everything herself, and I'm the boring consultant who plays it safe. The room was silent. So I'm calling a vote of no confidence. Not because I want to hurt you, but because I'm done being erased from my own investment. Rachel was crying now. Claire, please. All in favor of removing Rachel Davidson from her role as executive chairwoman? I raised my hand. My 3 nominee board members raised their hands. Motion passes, 73% in favor. You can't do this, Rachel said desperately. The general counsel cleared his throat. Actually, she can. The shareholder agreement is clear. Majority voting control allows for removal of any officer or director. This is my company. No, I said quietly. This is our company. You own 17.8%. I own 73.2%. Those are the facts. Rachel stood up abruptly, knocking her chair backward. You did this to humiliate me? I did this to stop being invisible. By destroying everything I built? I'm not destroying anything. The company will continue operating. The new CEO will stay on. The board will function normally. The only thing that's changing is the narrative. What narrative? The one where you did this alone. Within an hour, news of the board meeting leaked. By noon, TechCrunch had the story. Nexus Digital Solutions founder ousted by secret majority shareholder, her own sister. Rachel refused to speak to me. She refused to leave the office. She sat in her corner office for 3 hours, staring at the wall. The new CEO called me. Claire, what do you want me to do? Run the company. That's what we hired you for. But Rachel can stay on as an advisor if she wants. She can attend board meetings. She just can't misrepresent who built this company anymore. You want credit? I want honesty. That evening my parents called. What have you done? My mother shrieked. Rachel is devastated. You humiliated her. I removed her from a position she was using to erase my contributions. Your contributions? Claire, she built that company. With $17 million of my money and 6 years of my guidance. You're lying. You work in consulting. You don't have that kind of money. I laughed. It came out bitter. I run a $340 million investment fund, Mom. I've been doing it for 7 years. I'm on the Forbes Midas list. I own a townhouse in Pacific Heights worth $4.2 million. I drive a Tesla Model S. I have $17 million invested in Rachel's company alone. Silence. You what? I'm not the boring little sister who plays it safe. I'm a venture capital partner who's been funding Rachel's career since day one. I just didn't need you to know that. Why not? Because I wanted to see if you'd value me for who I am, not what I have. Turns out the answer is no. My father grabbed the phone. You're destroying your sister's reputation out of jealousy. I'm correcting the record out of self-respect. She's your sister. And she told 200 people I've never supported her. While I owned 73% of her company. He had no response to that. 3 days later, Rachel published a Medium post. The truth about Nexus Digital Solutions. I almost didn't read it. But my assistant forwarded it with a note. You need to see this. Rachel's post was 8,000 words. She told everything. The bad Series A terms I'd saved her from. The embezzling CFO my board representative caught. The hostile co-founder my votes protected her against. Every instance where luck, or good timing, had actually been my silent intervention. For 6 years my little sister funded and protected my company, she wrote. She invested $17 million. She held majority voting control. She could have taken over at any point, could have forced me out, could have claimed credit. Instead, she let me run the company and only intervened to save me from disasters I didn't even know were happening. And how did I thank her? By telling everyone I did it alone. By calling her risk-averse. By saying she never supported me. The truth is, I built nothing alone. I built it on top of an invisible foundation my sister constructed. And when she finally asked for recognition, not even asked, just stopped letting me erase her, I called her vindictive. Claire Davidson is the smartest investor I know. She's the reason Nexus exists. And she's the sister I took for granted for 6 years. I don't know if she'll forgive me. I'm not sure I deserve forgiveness. But I needed to tell the truth. The post went viral. Within 48 hours, I had interview requests from every major business publication. VCs I'd never met were calling to pitch me on deals. The Forbes Midas list contacted me for a profile. I declined everything. Except one. Bloomberg asked me for a statement. I gave them 2 sentences. I invested in Nexus Digital Solutions because I believed in the mission and my sister's ability to execute. I removed myself from silent partnership because I believe honest collaboration matters more than comfortable myths. That was all. 2 weeks after her Medium post, Rachel showed up at my office. My assistant buzzed. "Your sister is here. Send her in." Rachel walked in looking exhausted. She'd lost weight. Dark circles under her eyes. "Hi," she said. "Hi. Can I sit?" "Sure." She sat across from my desk, the same desk where I'd signed the documents that made me her majority shareholder. "I read your Bloomberg statement," she said. "Okay. Honest collaboration matters more than comfortable myths. That's what you want. Collaboration. That's what I always wanted. I erased you. Yes. For 6 years. Yes." He started crying. "I'm so sorry, Claire. I thought I had to be the solo founder. The visionary who did it all herself. I thought admitting I had helped made me less impressive. It doesn't. I know that now. But I didn't then. And I hurt you. I dismissed you. I made you invisible in your own investment. I said nothing. I called the board," Rachel continued. "I resigned as executive chairwoman officially. I recommended you for the position. I don't want it. I know. You never wanted the spotlight. You just wanted, what? Recognition. I wanted my sister to see me." Fresh tears spilled down her cheeks. "I see you now. I see all of it. The investments, the protection, the years of work. I see you, Claire. And I'm sorry it took losing everything to finally look." We sat in silence. "What happens now?" she asked. "That's up to you. I want to fix this. I want to rebuild our relationship. I want to actually collaborate instead of pretending I'm doing it alone. That's going to take time. I have time. However long it takes." I studied my sister. She looked broken. Humbled. "I'm not giving you the voting shares back," I said. "I'm not asking you to. I'm keeping majority control." "Good. You've earned it. And if we do this, if we actually collaborate, it has to be honest. No more solo founder narrative. No more erasing my role. Never again. I swear. I'll hold you to that." She nodded. "I know you will. That's why I need you." Nexus Digital Solutions went public in March. Opening valuation, $340 million. Rachel and I rang the opening bell together. The prospectus listed us both clearly. Rachel Davidson, founder and chief visionary officer, 17.8% equity. Claire Davidson, lead investor and board chair, 73.2% equity. In her interview with CNBC that morning, Rachel was asked about our unusual structure. "My sister believed in this company before I did," she said. "She invested when we had nothing. She protected us when I made mistakes. She let me lead while making sure I didn't fail. That's not a silent partner. That's a founding partner. And I'm grateful she finally made me admit that. I'm not destroying anything." The anchor turned to me. "Claire, you could have taken credit years ago. Why stay silent?" "Because I wanted my sister to succeed on her own terms. I just stopped letting those terms erase my contribution." "Any advice for other silent investors?" I smiled. "Stop being silent when silence becomes complicity in your own erasure. That clip went viral. My fund, Davidson Strategic Partners, closed its second $500 million raise that month. Rachel was my first LP investing $5 million. It's weird being on this side, she told me at the signing. Which side? The investor side. Trusting someone else with my money. I'll take care of it. I know you will. You always have. Last week, Rachel invited me to her house for dinner. Just the two of us. No parents. No press. No board members. We sat on her deck overlooking the bay, drinking wine from the winery I'd invested in 3 years ago. I've been thinking, Rachel said, about the promotion party. The speech. Okay. I meant what I said about building Nexus being hard. About fighting every day. That was true. I know. But the rest, about doing it alone, about you never supporting me, that was a story I told myself because it felt better than admitting I needed help. Why did it feel better? Because needing help felt like weakness. And I couldn't be weak. I had to be the strong one. The successful one. The one who proved everyone wrong. You're allowed to need help, Rachel. I know that now. But it took losing everything to learn it. We watched the sun set over the water. Do you forgive me? She asked quietly. I thought about it. Honestly. I forgive the sister who didn't know better. I'm still working on forgiving the one who chose not to see. That's fair. But we're getting there. She reached over and squeezed my hand. Thank you for not giving up on me. Even when I gave you every reason to. You're my sister. Is that why you did it? Family. Partly. But also because you're brilliant. Flawed but brilliant. And I wanted to see what you could build if someone kept you from destroying yourself. She laughed. Well, you succeeded. We succeeded. We succeeded, she agreed. We sat there as the sky turned purple then black. Sisters. Partners. Collaborators. Not perfect. But finally honestly real. Rachel never did replace me as majority shareholder. Said she didn't want to. I make better decisions knowing you're watching, she told me once. Keeps me honest. My parents eventually came around. Took them a year of therapy and several difficult conversations, but they got there. They still don't fully understand what I do. But they've stopped comparing me to Rachel. That's progress. Last month, Forbes ran a feature. The Davidson sisters. Redefining partnership in tech. In the photo we stand side by side. Equal height. Equal presence. The caption reads, Rachel Davidson, founder/CVO, and Claire Davidson, lead investor/chair, of Nexus Digital Solutions, a $340 million company built on collaboration, honesty, and sisterhood. I keep that photo on my desk. Not because I need the validation, but because it's the truth. And after 6 years of comfortable myths, the truth feels like oxygen. My sister built something extraordinary. I made sure she didn't destroy it. Together we created something neither of us could have done alone. That's not the story Rachel wanted to tell. But it's the only story worth telling.